This is a clear violation of the covenants. That fence must come down immediately.
The property lines are clearly marked right here, and my documents confirm.
I never expected to end up in a battle with my HOA. I bought my home at the edge of Greenwillow Estates because I wanted peace, quiet, and the kind of privacy you only get when your backyard faces the woods instead of another neighbor's kitchen window. But the HOA? They had different plans for me. And it all started with one ridiculous demand, one that spiraled into chaos I still can't believe actually happened. It was a Thursday afternoon when I first encountered the storm known as Marla, our HOA president. You know the type, hair sprayed into a movable shape, pastel blazer, clipboard welded to her hand like a weapon. I had just finished mowing my lawn when she marched up my driveway. "Cole," she said sharply, as if I'd done something wrong just by existing. "We need to talk." That tone already annoyed me, but I stayed polite. "Sure, what's going on?" She took a deep breath, one of those dramatic ones meant to show she was being patient. "As you know," she began, "the annual Greenwillow Community Fair is this weekend." I nodded. "Yes, and I hope you all have fun." Her smile sharpened. "Oh, you will be having fun, too. Because the board has decided the fair will be hosted on your property." I blinked hard. My property? What she said next made my jaw drop. "Yes," she continued, pleased with herself. "Your yard is the largest in the community, and frankly, we need the space." What? I stammered. "Marla, no one even asked me." "You're part of the community," she snapped. "Therefore, your compliance is expected." I couldn't believe what she said next. "And don't worry," she added. "We've already printed the flyers. The vendors, tents, and bounce houses will arrive Saturday morning." Bounce houses. Plural. That's when I knew I had to fight back. I told her no firmly. But Marla wasn't the type to take no for an answer. The next day, I found a notice taped, no, glued, to my front door. It claimed I had voluntarily agreed to provide my property for HOA events. Apparently, my signature was on file. So I marched straight to the HOA office, which was really just a converted garage behind Marla's house. "Where did this come from?" I demanded, shoving the paper toward her. She didn't even look up from her laptop. "It's your signature." "It's literally not." She sighed as if I was being unreasonable. "Well, it's close enough. Besides, we need your property. So we're using it." "You can't do that." "Oh, but we can. Our bylaws clearly state." "I'm not in your HOA," I interrupted. That finally got her attention. She froze. "Your, what?" "My deed predates the HOA. I'm not legally a member. You can't force me into anything." The look on her face was priceless, offended, humiliated, furious. "This isn't over," she hissed. But I already knew. It was just beginning. Despite everything I said, at sunrise on Saturday, they came. Dozens of HOA volunteers poured down my street, dragging tents, canopies, extension cords, coolers, giant inflatable rides, everything. I stood in my driveway with a cup of coffee, watching in disbelief. One man waved. "Hey! Where do you want the cotton candy machines?" "Nowhere," I said. "This isn't happening." "You'll have to take that up with Marla," he shrugged. Sure enough, Marla strutted up moments later. "Move," she barked, gesturing at my yard. "We're behind schedule." "No," I repeated. "Get off my property." She crossed her arms. "You're obstructing a community event. That's a violation." "Not in your HOA." She smirked. "Cole, sweetheart, once the vendors show up, this will all be official. So unless you want to disappoint hundreds of families." I couldn't believe the audacity. "Oh, and one more thing," she said casually. We invited the local news to film the event this year. So please behave. I felt my blood boil. That's when the idea hit me. A simple, beautiful idea. If she wanted this fair to be public, then it would be public. I made one phone call. Just one. To the county fire marshal's office. A cheerful receptionist answered. Hi there. What can we help you with today? Yes, I said calmly, I'd like to report an unapproved outdoor public event being built on private property without permits. There was a long silence. Excuse me? I continued. There will be over 500 people, electrical equipment, cooking stations, propane grills, inflatables, and generators placed very close to a wooded area. Another pause. We're sending someone immediately. 20 minutes later, a white county truck pulled up in front of my house. Out stepped Fire Marshal Dawson, a tall, serious man with a clipboard that was mightier than any sword. Morning, he said. You reported an unlicensed event. I pointed at the chaos in my yard. His eyes widened. Oh. Oh wow. Marla rushed over. Excuse me. This is a sanctioned HOA event. You can't just walk in. He flashed his badge. I absolutely can. He inspected everything, the cords, the generators, the food trucks, the giant inflatable slide practically leaning against my shed. He scribbled non-stop. Then he called out loudly. Everyone step away from the equipment. This event is shut down. You could hear a pin drop. Marla sputtered. What? You can't do that. He raised an eyebrow. You tried to host a county-level event on private property with no permits, no inspections, and no homeowner consent. She looked like she might actually faint. But we're the HOA, she insisted. And I'm the fire marshal, he said dryly. Pack it up. As volunteers dismantled everything, Marla stormed up to me, vibrating with rage. This is your fault. No, I said calmly. This is what happens when you break the law. You humiliated me. In front of the entire community. You did that yourself, Marla. You'll pay for this, she hissed. I smiled. Actually, you will. Because while the fire marshal was shutting things down, he mentioned something interesting. She could be fined thousands of dollars. Personally. Not the HOA, her. When she found out, she screamed so loud I think birds left the county. By Monday, the fallout was complete. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. Word spread fast. And for once, I was invited. When I walked into the clubhouse, everyone fell silent. Marla sat at the center table, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Cole, the vice president said. We've reviewed the marshal's report. We want to apologize for Marla's misuse of authority. Marla slammed her hands down. I was trying to organize a community tradition. You forged documents, the VP snapped. You lied about legal boundaries. You trespassed. You endangered residents. Her mouth fell open. We're voting to remove you as HOA president effective immediately. The vote was unanimous. Marla stood, shaking. You can't do this to me. I built this HOA. I made this neighborhood what it is. But no one listened. Not anymore. She grabbed her bag and stormed out, muttering curses under her breath. I watched her leave, feeling a strange mix of relief and closure. She was finally gone. A few weeks later, the new HOA president, someone sane, visited me. Cole, he said, I wanted to thank you. For standing up to her. None of us realized how far she'd pushed things. He handed me a small box. Inside was a plaque. Greenwillow Neighbor of the Year. I laughed. I didn't even want to be part of the HOA. He grinned. You're not. But you protected everyone anyway. Looking back, I still shake my head at how ridiculous the whole thing was. All because one entitled woman believed my property belonged to her HOA. But here's what I learned. If you don't stand up for your rights, someone else will happily stomp all over them. Sometimes, the calmest voice and the right phone call are stronger than any shouting match. And justice, real justice, doesn't need revenge. Just truth, patience, and the courage to say no.